Welcome to Dr. Jester Rants, and I'm gonna rant about this. Dr. Carlson. The New York Times is planning on revealing where my family lives to injure my wife and kids. This is utterly fucking disturbing. Doxxing to the next level. Fox News Tucker Carlson revealed on Monday night that the New York Times is planning to publish a report on where his family lives. Holy shit, after they had to move due to an attack on their home by Antifa and due to repeated death threats that they have received. Holy fuck, that's what happens when you decide to say an opinion that goes against the narrative. Once you go against the narrative, this is what happens. You get the mob rule. It reminds me of those movies, books, and even history itself. For instance, even in Frankenstein's story, where you see a lot of movies or stuff like that, where there's a mob with torches and pitchforks and torches and coming to the castle, and there's a monster and they hunt. All those images, that's footage. That is what brings to mind when you read things like this. It reminds you of the Middle Ages, the Inquisition. That's what happens when you go against the narrative, and this is what it reminds me of. One more thing. Okay, I'm gonna read what he said in the transcript and the video below. One more thing. No, wait. Let's see if there's the video here. Oh. Okay. I don't know if I watch it, I'll get a copyright strike. So maybe I should just read it. I think that's better. One more thing before we go tonight. Since this show began almost 4 years ago, I've already tried not to talk about myself on the air or even use the first person pronoun. The last thing this country needs is more narcissism. That's true, it's not very interesting anyway. Quite frankly, I agree with him. He has been on point in almost every single thing he said on TV. And if he becomes a presidential candidate or a governor or something, he will have my support. People who use the word I a lot tend to bore everyone but themselves. But tonight, I'm never boring. But tonight we are going to make an exception to that rule. We don't have much choice. Last week the New York Times began working on a story about where my family and I live. As a matter of journalism, there is no conceivable justification for a story like that. The paper is not alleging we've done anything wrong, and we haven't. We pay our taxes, we like our neighbors, we've never had a dispute with anyone. So why is the New York Times doing a story on the location of my family's house? Well, you know why. To hurt us, to injure my wife and kids, so that I will shut up and stop disagreeing with them. They believe in force. That is completely 100% true. We've learned that 2 years ago, a left-wing journalist publicized our home address in Washington. A group of screaming Antifa lunatics showed up while I was at work. They vandalized our home. They threatened my wife. She called 911 when hiding in the closet. A few weeks later, they showed up again at our house. For the next year, they sent letters to our home threatening to kill us. We tried to ignore it, felt cowardly to sell our home and leave. We raised our kids there in the neighborhood, and we loved it. But in the end, that's what we did. We have 4 children. It just wasn't worth it. I remember when this happened, it was shocking. The people went there and threatened, and they actually, if I'm not wrong, they actually went inside of the home and threatened everyone and their kids. That's the type of people you are dealing with. Antifa or the control left. That's why it's utterly and fucking dangerous, these people. Okay, back to the article. But the New York Times followed us. The paper has assigned a political activist called Murray Carpenter to write a story about where we are now. They've hired a photographer called Tristan Spinsky, I think that's how he pronounces it, to take pictures. Their story about where we live is slated to run the paper this week. Editors there know exactly what will happen to my family when it does run. I called them today and told them, but they didn't care. when you are more of an activist than a journalist, they usually don't care. They hate my politics. They want the show off the air. If one of my children gets hurt because of a story they wrote, they won't be considered it collateral damage. They know it's the whole point of the exercise, to inflict pain on our family, to terrorize us, to control what we say. That's the kind of people they are, and that is true. That's what they do with everyone that says something that is against the narrative, everyone that is guilty of wrong thing. That's what they do. They target people just because you say or dare say anything that disagrees with the narrative. That's what they want. They want to terrorize you. They want to control you, beat you back to submission. Doesn't matter who you are. They'll deny this, of course. They say it's just journalism. I agree. They will say that. But those journalists lately, they are more than journalists. They are just activists. In fact, journalism today just lost a lot of respect. In fact, there's a research around, a poll, I think, in which people got interviewed and they actually believe and have more trust on what the President Trump says over the press itself. Imagine that. Anyway, back to the article. Really, so how would Murray Capitan and his photographer Tristan Spinsky feel if we told you where they live, if we put pictures of their homes on the air? What if we publicize the home address of every one of the soulless robot editors at the New York Times who assign and manage this incitement to violence against my family? What about the media editor Jim Windolf? We could do that. We know who they are. Would that qualify as journalism? We doubt they'll consider it journalism. They'll call it criminal behavior if we did it, and that tells you everything. It's true. That's what they'll say. Oh my god, we are the victims. Ooh, he did the same thing we did, but we are the victims, real victims here. We are the real victims here. He did the exact same thing, but we are the victims. How dare you disagree with us? If you disagree with us, you are racist. Racist. If you disagree with us. That's the type of mentality these people have. That's what they think a journalist means. No, journalism means simply to go report the facts, what is happening, and let the reader or the person listening or watching decide it for themselves. You're not supposed to do anything what they are doing to Tucker Carlson. In fact, anyone, even people from the other side, shouldn't be doxxed. I'm completely 100% against doxing. This is absolutely fucking wrong. No matter who you are, you shouldn't be doxed. And, well, that's the end of the news. Obviously, I prefer not to play the video because I could get a copyright strike even though I'm using it as a commentary, but it doesn't matter. Better to be safe than sorry later. My opinion in this, well, I've already explained, is that Tucker Carlson is a genius person and someone that we definitely need on the TV more often. And he in fact has a lot of good ideas. There's probably something I disagree with, but I have yet to see it. And there's probably something questionable he said, but it doesn't matter. No one agrees with everything the other person says 100% of the time. That's just an impossibility. So no wonder you don't need to go and go on spurging because I've decided to agree with one thing Tucker Carlson said and then suddenly I agree with everything he says. That's only the mentality the control left has. For them, you either agree 100% or not. In fact, that's quite interesting because they think that the gender is not a binary, that it's a spectrum, but the opinions and political things, etc., is a binary. You are with them or not. This is what's called zealotry. They are zealots. They are Puritans. That the people, they are like those, like I said in the beginning of the video, like those mob rules you see on movies, books, etc. They join together with pitchforks, with spears and torches, and they go and attack the hero of the story or something like that against some perceived insult or heresy. That's exactly what is going on, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Because, well, it's the Control Left. They wanna beat you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to rate this video. See you on my next video. Good night.